I don't know, what do you think?
It's not full. I can't drink from it yet.
So it shuts it off. When it gets down to about an inch lower, it'll fill it back up. Hey guys, welcome to Tiny House Customs. I'm Dan. So in today's video, I'm going to make a self-filling water trough, if that makes sense. So when I first moved to this property, the water system in the barn for the horses was pretty crappy. There was a rolled up garden hose. Anytime you wanted to fill one of the horse stall buckets, you'd have to run the hose over there. If you wanted to fill up one of the buckets that's right there, the big water trough, you have to run the garden hose. So I talked to my landlord and I've upgraded a lot of the systems that are here. One thing that they got was this automatic reeling garden hose thingy. Great, wonderful. But I also put in this whole system right here. So this is a bunch of different ball valves that control different things. There's one for, I used my old hot water heater, hooked it up. That goes down into a pressure washer, which is really like a light pressure washer. So this is the horse spa, if you will. So they can wash the horses. There's one big one, this red line goes to the horse troughs, and there's a shut-off there as well. There's a shut-off here for the garden hose. There's one that goes out right here, and that runs along the thing and goes down to that water trough on the outside. And then when I upgraded my electricity, I ran a line underground in that same thing all the way to my tiny house. There's no shut-off here. The shut-off's actually at my house, so I can control it over there. So the big red line that comes over comes to every horse stall. There's a ball valve, and you can fill up. There's then a flexible rubber hose, and you can fill up each bucket. And there is 6 horse stalls. One of the projects that I did, which I wish I filmed, was there was a stairwell that went here, and that wall right there was actually right where this post is. And I moved the wall over, put in a new beam, and then made another stall here. Took the stairs out, put in a drop down stairs right here. There's a pin that you can pull out, and this just becomes a ladder because there's no real reason to have a full set of stairs to go up into the attic. And then I also fixed up this horse stall. This used to be a big metal gate. I put this in, put that in, put better walls in, brought in some rock and leveled out the floor. Made this a lot nicer than what it was. And I made the door, made that door. It was a good project that I did. It was a fun project. I wish I filmed that one. That would probably been like 20 videos though, because it was a lot of days of me working. So the title of this video, what is it? Something like how to make a self-filling water trough or something like that. The only thing that doesn't really have a designated water line running to it is the horse troughs right here. So this gets filled up all the time, but what happens is it takes forever to fill it. So you turn the water on, you walk away, you forget about it. Next thing you know, 4 or 5 hours later, 6, sometimes 12 hours later, you come back and it's been running. The garden hose has been running forever. So I want to make something. I saw a video a long time ago on, I think, probably Facebook or maybe YouTube, where it was just use a toilet bowl floater to make a water thing. Doesn't fill it fast, but it will fill it, and when it is filled, the bubble will float, cut it off. Basically the same concept inside your toilet, but in here. So I bought a bunch of plumbing parts today, and we're gonna make that. All right, so I just got back from Lowe's. I bought a bunch of random things. One thing I got, this is the brains of the operation. This is a toilet fill valve. So this is adjustable from like 9 inches to 14 inches. This bottom part will unscrew. So this gives you extra height. This thing is also adjustable, so this floater, you get more water in your tank. So I adjusted it so it's all the way up high, and then I want this as small as I can because I want this contraption to be as compact as possible. So as small as I can make it and still do the function. There is a valve thing on here. I think you can have it either come out this hose or you can have it come out the bottom right here. I want it to come out the bottom so it doesn't startle the horses when it's filling. So I think that's a thought. I'm not positive about that, so once we get it installed, we'll see. So on top of that, I got a hose because this thread is different than a normal like PEX threading. So the hose will come up on the side of something that I have to build. And then I bought fittings that can come from this. This fitting goes into here. All this is gonna get tape, Teflon tape. And then I got this thing on here, and then from here I can go with PEX, because I don't want to have to, well, I'm just going to go with some PEX for a little bit, and then I'll connect into a garden hose. So from the end of this hose, I'll go PEX tubing to here, and then from here, I'm going to go with this thing, and this is a garden hose adapter, so you can screw on a garden hose. I couldn't find one that was pivoting so that you only had to screw it, so it might be a pain in the butt to twist them on. I have an idea that I might try. I bought this, 7/8, 3/8 compression, I don't know, but flexible hose, 20 inches, and then this, all said and done, $39.84 for $40. Now, I do have a lot of PEX fittings and crimps and all that stuff, so, you know, additional costs could be incurred. And then also I need to make some type of structure that holds this thing together and holds it in place. And so I have this piece of 5/4. This is 5/4 PVC. Because this is going to be in water, I want it to be PVC so it's not leaching chemicals. I don't want to use pressure treated because that's bad. And I don't want to use like a pine or any type of wood because that over time is going to rot. The PVC is going to last the longest. And yeah, good. It might float, but I am going to have one piece that goes all the way across the tank that is going to be bolted down to the sides of the tank. And then I'm going to try to encapsulate this thing a little bit so that the horses don't gnaw on it, because they have a tendency to chew on things. So first thing I'm going to do is make the base for this thing. I want a little base right here to hold it onto it, and then I'll make some sides, and then I'll do the top rail, and then we can start putting it together. This right here is, I mean, it's not quite 3/4. I think if I drill a 3/4 inch hole and I waller it out a little bit, this might actually screw into it, which will make it stronger. So I'm going to do a 3/4 inch hole. I might have to jump up to 1 inch because that's the only bit. I might have a 7/8. All right, so I want this to be like right here. Oops. Exactly what I didn't want to happen. This fitting right here doesn't need to be watertight because this whole thing is going to be underwater. It's going to be inside the tank, so I just want it to be strong. So that 3/4 worked, and I was able to basically cut some threads into it. I bet you it would be watertight, but it doesn't need to be. If you do this, it's going to come with a nut that goes on the bottom, and then this thing right here. Don't need that. We're not doing that area. It's thingies. Put this on. I don't know if we're going to have enough room to put the other thing on. Yeah, so I don't have enough room right here to do all that. Your tank is only probably like a 1/2 inch thick, so I'm not going to do the nut. Luckily this is tight, so this is good. Tighten this down. I'd like this to come up through there. You know? Can we do that? So if you don't have horses tend to like teeth on things, if you will. Like if we have a hanging bucket, they're gonna grab on it and like yank it and rip things apart. So I want this to be protected, and I don't want hoses and things that they can grab at. This, if a horse got a hold of this, gone. It would be gone. Like they would tear it apart in 2 seconds. So I'm gonna have a piece that comes here, comes across the top, and then if I have extra pieces, I'm gonna run like basically bars across, like prison gates, so they can't get to it, but water can still flow through there because I need water inside of this area to operate the floater. So I'm gonna try to get this hose back up through there. I like that idea. So I want 2 sides that run up just a little bit above the top of this thing, so roughly 10 1/4, 10 1/8. Go 10 1/8. See, what happens is when you don't clean up after one project and you start another and another and another, it gets a little out of hand in here, you know? Don't put these screws into those pipes that you have in there, alright? Let's be smart. You fucked up. That'll never go in where you want it to now. Good. So I got this piece that's going to go on top like that, and then this will get bolted to the sides of the tank, and I don't want any hoses running, so I'm going to sneak out hoses underneath the bottom, in between the top of this I'm gonna have to kind of channel that out. But this hose right here, I can run through this, make some connections, and start doing pecks coming out of that. So whenever you have a rubber gasket like there is and sometimes in different fittings, you don't need to do plumber's tape. So this fitting right here doesn't need plumber's tape. So I can just screw that on and tighten it down. And I'll tell you, this fitting was hard to find, but it does exist. So you can go from whatever thread that is on there. I think it was a compression. Look in the compression section. Good, this is really going together really quickly. Look at, now I do pecs. This is freaking awesome. This is very easy. Like skill level 0. You don't need any skill for that. A saw, a drill, a wrench, come on. So I just took it over to the stock tank, and originally I was gonna kind of put it not in the middle, but in the center where it starts straightening out, you know, because it's rounded on the two sides. You'll see it in a second, but I can put it all the way up against one of the corners or one of the sides of it where it's curved. You know, it's going to be about 3 inches from the edge, and then it's still in the curve. So I got rough marks on an angle here to where that's going to go, and then I got marks where this needs to get screwed in together. So I can start doing that, right? So my PEX tubing can run underneath this, so when it's on the tank, the pipe will come out here, and the horses, I'm going to hopefully try to shoot this down, straight down, so the horses can't get at it. And if it's up right here, that's all right, everything's good. Everything is looking good, and that only took, 4 minutes to set that whole thing up. So I just cut like a 3-foot piece of PEX. I'm gonna connect this in here. This gives me options to hook it up over there. I can cut it here and come down with a 90 and then do more PEX all the way back to the manifold if I hook it up that way. Or I can connect it this to this right here, and then I can just hook the garden hose up to that. So as far as getting this all hooked up, this will give me options to do other things later. We're not sure yet, right? We don't know what we're doing. Or why are we 3 people? Why are we multiple people? See how that pipe is now up inside there? It's beautiful. To all you knife guys out there, I know people are really big into knives. This is the greatest knife, okay? I'm not gonna argue with you. That is the greatest knife. I always have it on them. Maybe, not always, but most of my time, yeah. Words are things that create sentences. Cool, isn't that cool? It's basic little thing. The one I watched the guy make was way more complicated, bending things and, oh God. This is beep beep. So in the winter, these things get hot. No, Jesus, can we talk a little bit better? I'll try. Okay, so I'm over here where the water troughs are. There are 2. One of them has one of the heating elements in it broke. The washer on the back broke, so it doesn't hold water anymore. Talking to my landlord about ordering a new one and putting that in. But I do want a flat surface for the water trough to sit on. So I'm going to cut some pressure treated lumber and put it down on the ground level, so I don't have to dig out too much dirt. Maybe just 2 little foof things. And I want the water trough, so my water thing, I want it to be right in line with this. So this general area is where that water trough's going to go. But I got to go cut those 2x4s or 4x4s first. Let's get rid of this. Watch out.
I don't want to get wet.
So off camera, I did a couple things. This hose, I'm not sure yet what it does yet. I know water comes out of it, but I did staple it over to the side so it's out of the way. I stapled this in here so it won't flap. And then I also did put this on it. I came down with it just like that. So this will go through the fence right there, so you can hook the hose up right there. I did it this way because in the winter we do have freezing temperatures. It doesn't really get that cold, but things do freeze. So this is not going to be something that we can use in the winter. So since we can't use it in the winter, it needs to be removable. So I feel like that's probably a better way to go. If there was a quick connect for PEX then maybe I can find something like that. Let's get a shovel and let's get some 4x4s cut. I'm gonna slip and bust my head because I just made this whole area a muddy mess. Good. Move the four-wheeler. You're gonna just eat ass. Peanut, you're not supposed to eat that.
Your doctor said lay off the bacon and then you didn't stop eating it, did you?
Okay, Peanut, that's enough.
It's delicious though.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta dig all that out because that needs a radius. Shit balls. Eighth inch. Way off. That's all right. Half inch. Sorry, it's gonna settle forward. So since I need this thing removable, I'm not gonna screw it, I'm not gonna bolt it, but I am gonna put 2 bolts through it to hold it in place. But in the winter, you can just pull it up. I mean, that's done, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, what do you think?
It's not full, I can't drink from it yet.
So it shuts it off, which it's going to shut it off. I have no idea how much this floats, but probably about 4 inches from the top. And then when it gets down to about an inch lower, it'll fill it back up. Now obviously we have to rinse these things out every month or so. So it's good that this is removable somewhat. I think the garden hose will be alright. It'd be nice if I could, I'm sure I can find something if I looked harder to make more of a permanent but easier disconnect. Have a thing in there and then a quick connect right here so I can separate it, take this out. That dial that was on here, this is putting it through the hose and it's also putting it through the bottom of this pipe. If I turn it and shut the pipe off, it doesn't shut it off completely, it just puts less water through it and it sounds like more water is coming. But I'm happy, that was really, for the most part, easy. Minus the digging that I did. I'm gonna film an outro just in case this is the end of the video, and then that way I can have a video up for my Patreon supporters this week. But this was, you know, in my mind, a pretty cool project. I saw that on YouTube or Facebook like a year or two ago. Thought it was cool. This one's a little simpler than the one I saw him do, but yeah, really good, really cool. It's gonna save a lot of issues because we run water, we overfill the water all the time, so this is gonna make sure that the horses always have water and we're not going to be wasting water, which is good. But with the winter coming, this thing's going to go into the barn soon. I'm going to make sure it's dry and put it in the barn so it doesn't freeze. Pretty cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely different, but that's what this channel is going to become now, is different. It's okay if you're different, Daniel. It's all right.
You know, you could at least let me drink too, because, you know, you're drinking, so I should be able to drink too.
Brune, you can get some. Come on. Drink it. Come here, up.
I can't freaking reach it. Dude, I can't even get it yet. When it's full, I won't even be able to get it.
Okay, sorry, Payne. Don't worry, I'll work on it. I'll get you some water.